outside and give these gentlemen your courtesy. Thank you. And we will start with 2-minute opening statements.
Thank you, Deb, very much. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. I've been your county commission president now for 8 budget sessions, almost 8 years. And what I'd like to say is, my platform is very simple. Education is priority. Emergency service is priority. Transportation is priority. And we have always passed a budget to support all of this. We had to jump through our loop for the last year or two because of COVID and refund and put in the emergency services, actually EMTs and paramedics. Education, we have fully funded every year, and it's very obvious if you look at this landmark decision that the state of Maryland has put through as far as education. We are one of 7 counties that have met the goals of this Kirwan Commission type of thing for education. This past year alone, we funded $6 million over in maintenance of effort to make sure that our teachers got the pay they deserve and we got a good educational system. Unfortunately, my family is very much a Catholic. When I was growing up, I went through Catholic school, graduated from St. Michael's High School, so a total Catholic education, which sets up groundwork for me. 26 years in the Air Force, 4 years in the 5.5 years in the Board of Appeals, 4 years. Actually, it's the Democratic side before I turned over to Republican. But the whole thing is providing services to the people of St. Mary's County. This is all I really concentrate on. I go to Annapolis every Wednesday during the general session and fight for our rights there. I even asked Todd here, I fought for years to get some kind of relief to those who are retired, and we finally got it this year. And I was the lone person out of 24 jurisdictions that stood up and said, we need to do this. We have people that are hurting and they need relief in their taxes. And I'm proud to say we're reducing the taxes again this year in our income tax. We're getting ready to reduce it again, I hope. We have our final 2 days here before the 24th of May when we finally do our final tax. Thank you very much for your support. Please vote for randyguy.org.
Thank you, Randy. Can everybody hear me? Everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. First off, I'm extremely nervous, so forgive me. This is my first forum. In between these 2 experienced politicians here, I'm just happy to be here. So I know a lot of you don't know me. I am BJ Hall. I'm a Christian, I'm an American, I'm a West Pointer, I'm a veteran. And I've been here in the county for about 8 years. I've been working in project management for about 15 years, and I want to take those skills that I've learned and apply them here in St. Mary's County. 3 of the things that I think are most important that I focus on is the first being improved communication between the citizens of St. Mary's County and the leadership of St. Mary's County. A 2-way communication to ensure that the input of the citizen is included in decision making of the county. The second would be safer roads. I know a lot of people talk to me about decisions I make on the planning commission, but part of it comes because we have existing safe family intersections that we try to lay that burden on developers that are coming down and trying to improve our county. So we need to make sure that we take care of that and encourage proper development. Third one would be in supporting our small businesses here in St. Mary's County. We had a few things, a few resources that were available in the midst of COVID, but what we had was an issue ensuring that those resources got to those businesses that truly needed it. So if you were connected to economic development, yeah, it worked. But if you were one of those lone rangers out there in the middle of the park, up in Mechanicsville, somewhere else, you might not necessarily receive the information and be able to take advantage of the opportunity, well, access the resources that were available. I got 15 seconds left. I'm an advocate. I've been advocating for small groups throughout the county, at the county level and at the state level. And I really want to advocate for all of you, entire state, into the county of St. Mary's County.
Thank you and welcome, and thank you to the Republican Club for hosting us here today. The most important thanks to all of you. I am Tommy McKay. I did have the opportunity to serve you back in 2002 to 2006, a board that lowered taxes 7 times In fact, we lowered the income tax to the rate it remained until 3 years ago when my opponent's board raised the taxes to close to the highest bid in the state of Maryland. Now they're lowering it back down. So, but that's okay. I think it's a little bit disingenuous to raise them and then say we're lowering them. The Make America Great agenda showed us one thing, how difficult it is going to be to restore conservative principles in our country. We have to restore our family values, we have to restore our religious values, and we have to make sure that Americans who are willing to work hard, respect each other, and respect our country are heard. And that's you. That's you. And that is the main thing that I want to do, and I want to do as county commissioner, and why I want to come back is to hear from you and to make sure that we're restoring those conservative values that you hold so dear in your hearts and in your minds. You know, education, public safety is absolutely important. So is open and honest government. The foundations of conservative principles lie in the openness and honesty of your government. Everything that your government is doing, you should know about it before it happens. You should be aware of it when it's happening. You shouldn't find out that your government was doing it after it happens.
Right.
I want to make sure, when I was commissioner, we kept all of our doors in Government Center wide open. You were not allowed to shut your doors because it created a culture of openness and honesty. You go to county government today, you can't get through. You want to get some information from county government, you have to fill out a form online.
Thank
to
you.
try.
Thank you.
Thank you.
These are all good guys up here. They got great humor. I don't know why BJ's so nervous. I told him the questions ahead of time. So BJ, what is a woman? No, I'm kidding. All right, so here's the real question. During COVID, the governor and the county health officer implemented policies restricting businesses from operating and people from gathering. As commissioner, will you push back on those policies or comply with them? One thing. Yep.
I feel like that was a setup question. I think you already know my answer there. Most of the recommendations that came from the health department, well, hold on. Let me make sure I'm clear. Start with the answer up front. I do not think that we should be closing businesses just for the sake of closing businesses. I think that we did what we should have done and listened to the science, the information that the commissioners received. I think that they actually did a really good job enforcing the mandate as it was applied this year. Over the COVID during the pandemic. There you go. Boom. All right. So I wouldn't have done much different because it seemed like they listened to Dr. Brewster and followed the science. They asked questions when they doubted it, and I think they made decisions that encouraged businesses to reopen. So there were some things that happened within the county that shut a few of our businesses down. I think that communication could have been improved in order to make sure that didn't happen. But I think that the commission actually did a really good job in that case.
You know, I think the Board of County Commissioners that we have in the last 4 years have had really good intentions. I think they've been really good commissioners, and I do thank them all for their service. And this is not about what they did or didn't do, frankly. This is about what we would have done and should have done, what we would have done a little bit differently. So the county commissioners in St. Mary's County set as the Board of Health. We are the Board of Health in St. Mary's County. As the Board of Health, we should not have, in my opinion, allow Dr. Brewster the latitude that she was allowed during the COVID. I can tell you, as a small business owner in St. Mary's County, and many of my friends, the struggles we went through, the pains that we were put through, were just as if the Gestapo had come down and said, you must do this, regardless of whether it's going to have any effect or not. Folks, I'm all for public health. We all are. Who the heck in this room is not for public health? But there has to be a science to it. There has to be we cannot run. What do we do next? Where do we go next? What's the next solution when we have flu next year? Are we going to shut our schools down again? What are we going to do? We're Americans. We have our rights, we have our liberties, and we should not be compromising those rights and liberties, in my opinion, unless they can show us evidence that there is a critical situation that we must adhere to. So I think the commissioners did a good job. I'm not saying they didn't. I believe that, however, as the Board of Health, they did not take, I would have taken a much stronger position. I would have hoped our board would have taken a much stronger position in challenging Dr. Brewster on some of these issues. On to my Pfizer.
Okay, candidates.
Since I'm the board member who was the commissioner president during this time period, believe me, it was a low point in my life. I've never seen anything like this. The only thing we did with the Board of Health, when she came before us, we listened to her. She actually wanted more restrictions, but we held the line on whatever the governor's office passed down. Now, when the governor comes down to you, that is a law. We have no other choice but to follow that direction. We pushed back constantly, but it did not do any good for us. We had to do that. Even though she may have preached out more restrictions at times, we said, no, we don't need to go any further. We've gone far enough. To me, we went way too far as the country and this whole thing. But that's my own personal opinion. As a law person, as a person of legislative in this county, I have no other choice but to follow the governor and the legislation that comes down to us from the state. And that's what we did. And I would have liked to have done more, but we couldn't. And that's just the way it is. And we had to follow the rules of the governor. Thank you very much.
Audience, I'd appreciate it if you could keep your comments down so that we could hear the candidates and we hear what they have to say so that you can make an informed choice. All right, the next question of 1 minute. What is your taxing and spending philosophy? Start with Tommy.
My taxing and spending philosophy is to keep it as low as possible, to meet the requirements that you have for your government. And by the way, your government is not all things to all people, by the way. Your government has to provide essential services that you generally cannot provide for yourself. Education, public safety, and transportation, the primary ones. So, but we should be very good at education. In fact, we should be the best at education. And I have no problem having a per pupil spending rate that is maybe as high as most counties in the state. My consideration, however, is that the results of that spending, the achievement levels, must be demonstrated. We have to demonstrate achievement levels. And that's why we did the Bridge to Excellence Agreement in 2004, which held the school system accountable for achievement levels in order to get the spending. And is time up? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry. What is your taxing and spending philosophy?
My taxing and spending philosophy. Well,
Hold it close to your
I'm known as a tightwad. I really don't like to spend any money if I can get away with it, but we have basic services we have to supply to the citizens. And the tax money we receive, we very diligent. We work for almost 7 months every year going through the tax and going through the budget. And quite a bit of it is we are assuming how much we're going to have usually the last 3 or 4 months of the year. But this last couple of years, because of Trump's tax policy at the federal level, we've received additional monies, there's no doubt. Is that going to continue? We don't know. But it looks good right now, we've got extra monies, and we are definitely spending it, but we gotta be careful about how we spend it on recurring expenses. We're spending on everything we do to get like internet services, anything to do with public transportation, things like we're spending on all that. And that's good, that is good. But we have to reserve, we have to keep it in reserve a certain amount, because we know darn well, like in the past, if anybody remembers 2014, the school system was in trouble. Guess what? We had to put up $9.5 million to bail them out. Oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
That's all right.
For one, this was definitely not on the list of questions that we got. But when we start thinking about the philosophy as far as budgeting and spending, I came from a background of continuous improvement, Six Sigma, lean management, and what I want to do is take a look at what we have now. Look at all the systems, all the resources that we have, and truly understand where there are opportunities to improve. So when you find places where there's waste, we can eliminate that waste. When you eliminate that waste, you eliminate that cost that's associated with that waste. So you can find opportunity to save money, possibly giving us opportunity to fulfill our obligation to do for other essential services. As far as spending, I think that we can maintain our current level of spending and do more with what we can find with the elimination of waste.
St. Mary's County population has risen dramatically within the last few years with the last few years of the pandemic. Folks have been spending more time outdoors. What can be done to increase access to public lands for residents? 1 minute.
Thank you. We have done a lot already. Matter of fact, as I've been there, we have purchased 2 big, large tracts of land on the water. One on the Patuxent River and one on Chesapeake Bay. The one down in Chesapeake we just got, the Shannon Farm, a huge piece of land with a beautiful beach out there. We're just starting to develop it, and all these places put lots of time into it. And luckily, we're getting good monies from not from the Navy, what they call RIPI funds, to buy these pieces of property. And we've already put turf fields in everywhere for recreation. We also have funded or helped fund the schools. They provide half the funding, we provide the other half. Put turf fields on the high school. So all of our athletes and young people out there are competitive, and wherever they go, work on these various sports. And so I believe it gives much access to the water as we can and improvement to make sure that all the other population who doesn't live on the water has some kind of access. And I enjoy the waterfront we get to, and we're going to build another boat ramp down there very soon. So thank you very much.
One of the things that I've noticed here in the county is we actually have a lot of available resources as far as outdoor activity. What we don't do is truly take advantage of it. And I think it's important that as leadership of the county, we do a better job of introducing some of those spaces that are underutilized to not only the citizens of St. Mary's County, but people outside. So say for instance, I'm actually on the board down at Historic St. Mary's, and what we don't do is a great great job of advertising the trails that are out there, the waterfront that's out there, the kayaking that you can do. There are so many things that you can do outside at Historic, outside of the museum. It's 840 acres, and what we do is pay attention to the 40 that the museum resides. So we have to do a better job of advertising the great things that we have already.
Somebody in county government said to me just the other day, he said, the commissioners could have funded every request this year and still had over $1 million left. Yes, they have plenty of money, and yes, they've been spending it. But you're the guys and gals that need the money. It's your gas prices are going up, your food prices are going up, your electric bills are going up. We have to slow it down. County government spending has got to slow down. You've got to get some of your money back. If they have extra money, why not come back to you? We have, please give me a few extra seconds, thank you.
You got it, Tommy.
We,
1 minute.
listen, we need great recreational facilities. I still play softball in county parks. We put lights in almost lots of fields. I congratulate the county commissioners for doing it. But I can tell you, when I leave those ball fields at night, no one's playing on those lights. Maybe one field, but not two. There's a lot to do already. There's a lot of access to facilities. We need more, but we need to slow down our spending.
Great. All right, now we have 1 minute closing statements.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Deb, and thank you to the Republic Club for doing this tonight. I've been a county commission president now for almost 8 years, 8 budgets. And the only thing I can say is we are very frugal with all the help of the other, all 5 commissioners work together for months to do this. So I'm not saying we're doing anything, we're not outspending anybody, we're not throwing your money away. As a matter of fact, if anything else, we're cutting the taxes this year. And I'd like to even see maybe cutting some more taxes. We got another meeting here coming up Tuesday afternoon to look at even further. Because I know everybody out there, a lot of people need to have their taxes cut if possible. With all this inflation going on, we need to slow down. I agree with Tommy on that. And make sure that you have that money in your pocket and not going wastefully anywhere. And I'm not wasteful about anything. I'm very frugal about my spending, on my own personal self, as well as your money that you're trusting with me. And I will do everything I can to make sure it's spent properly. And we've done that over the years, and I thank you very much.
One of the things that I think we have an issue with here in St. Mary's County is we're impacted by the political narrative at the national level. I think that we need to change that. We need to ensure that we're focused on St. Mary's County. We can't allow the narrative from up the road to impact the political climate that we have here. So us focusing on St. Mary's and ensuring that we build a team that is focused on St. Mary's County and not being impacted by outside influences, and ensuring that team is prepared to help push us forward. So hopefully I have convinced you all, at least one person, to put $1 back in the back for the straw poll. But I appreciate the opportunity from the club and from the women's club, so thank you.
I want to thank my wife, Michelle, for her support and all the challenges that we face in our lives, and she was always there for me. Marvin Kamenetz, retired circuit court judge, served this community for many years, said, Tommy, you were the best commissioner president we ever had, we need you back. Dan Raley, former county commissioner, said Tommy McKay did more in 40 years than most commissioners do in 8. St. Mary's County would be wise to hire him back. Larry Jarbo said Tommy McKay was a good commissioner and he would make a good commissioner president again. Francie Egan said, we need Tommy McKay now more than ever. I want to restore the conservative principles that you so long for, that we need in this country. It's time to take our country back and start right here in St. Mary's County. There's no reason we can't be the example. There's no reason we can't be a national example, quite frankly, my friend. And we should be, because restoring our conservative values, restoring government back to the people, listening to the people, that's what county government at the local level always needs to do. We always need to be open. We always need to be listening to our citizens, and that's what we will do if you return me to county government. I thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you.